Welcome to the Craftswoman channel. Thank you for joining today. I will be talking about medical kidnapping. I'm going to be reading a story that I just learned about today. I was actually going to talk about another subject, but I know that this is way more serious. To get your baby taken away for wrongful allegations is really serious. So this is, and then I want to tell you about my story, how the hospital tried to take away one of my children. And then this situation that this mother had, I also had the same situation happen. And thankfully, I did not go to the hospital because I already know what was going to happen, what was likely to happen. And I'm pretty much traumatized anyway because of my experiences that I've had with the medical system. So let me tell you about this is in Texas, and I'm actually reading this from her GoFundMe. I'm friends with, I believe, her relative on Facebook. So I messaged her. Well, I didn't message her. I commented. I posted this on my Facebook page, and I commented, you know, to her, or at her to see if this is the right GoFundMe. But there is a GoFundMe for Jira Seabrun. So I'm just going to read this, and you all please support her. And we're going to talk about the pregnant to postpartum event that I'm having. So I'm not really going to be looking at the comments. I just want to, not right now anyway, because I want to read this story. On November 16th, 2024, our lives changed forever. Our 10-week-old daughter, Jira, was taken from us after a tragic misunderstanding, one that could have been avoided if doctors had simply looked at the medical evidence. Now, despite proof of her bone fragility, we are still fighting to bring her home. Jira was born on September 7, 2024, weighing 6 pounds. As a first time mother, Alandria, was exclusively pumping because she struggled to latch due to a severe lip tie. I was producing 50 to 70 ounces of milk per day, which made it difficult for her to gain weight. So, our pediatrician suggested I adjust how I fed her. We followed every medical recommendation and never imagined that our dedication of her health would one day be used against us. She was still 8 pounds at 10 weeks, so it was suggested to see a lactation consultant to see if Jira could now latch. We went on November 13th, and Jira latched easily with a nipple guard. I was so pleased. However, I was instructed to stop pumping. Sorry, I started looking at something else. I'm trying to find my place again. So they got a nipple guard. I was so pleased. However, I was instructed to stop pumping to lower my milk supply. On September 16th, I was breastfeeding Jira with a nipple guard when I had a sudden letdown. Jira, who had dozed off, choked on the milk, and I quickly moved her to help her breathe. She let out a cry, but calmed down almost immediately, so I thought nothing of it. However, later that night, as my husband Quentin and I were getting ready for bed, we noticed that her left arm went limp. We rushed her to Dallas Children's Hospital. What happened next was our worst nightmare. The nightmare begins. At the hospital, doctors found a fractured humerus and then told us that Jira also had multiple healing rib fractures, something we had no knowledge of. Instead of investigating further, they immediately accused us of child abuse. We begged the doctors to look deeper, but they refused. Jaira's blood work showed vitamin D 8.5, which is severely deficient, alkaline phosphacy 1153 high, indicating bone turnover, parathyroid, parathyroid hormone 110 abnormally high, total bilirubin 2.7. Every one of these results pointed to a serious metabolic or bone disorder, but the doctors dismissed them, stating that labs don't explain fractures. Instead of searching for answers, they called CPS and Mansfield PD. The hospital did not even wrap Jaira's arm until we had been there for almost 24 hours. Without an investigation, CPS took our daughter away. That same night, we were forced to leave the hospital without our baby. As if all of this wasn't enough, we later discovered that the affidavit submitted by the child abuse doctor at Children's Hospital falsely claimed that Jaira had a subdural hematoma, a serious brain bleed. This was used against us in court. However, the same doctor later admitted in court that this information was false. The fight for justice. Despite the pain of separation, we didn't stop fighting. We sought a second opinion at Scottish Rite Hospital, but the doctor had ties to Dallas Children's and refused to examine Jaira. She remained in her car seat the entire appointment. The next day, we saw our pediatrician, who was much more thorough. She immediately recognized that something was wrong, prescribed Jaira vitamin D supplements, and recommended we see an endocrinologist. She also advised us to supplement my breast milk with goat milk formula to help Jaira get the additional nutrients her body desperately needed. The endocrinologist diagnosed Jaira with neonatal nutritional rickets, a bone disorder caused by severe vitamin deficiency. Confirmed that rickets cause bone fragility and weak bones that fracture easily, but even with medical proof that her fractures were due to her fragility, CPS refused to drop the case. A devastating arrest. On November 25th, I received a call from a detective telling me I had 24 hours to turn myself in. I was arrested and charged with a felony for injury to a child, neglect, all because I could not explain the rib fractures. While I sat in Tarrant County Jail, my husband and mother scrambled to find a lawyer for the CPS case. We hired one lawyer, and she was good, but was not familiar with medical cases such as ours. I was released on bond the next day, but the damage was done. My name was now tied to a felony charge I do not deserve. Medical experts confirm this is not abuse. We knew we needed stronger legal defense. We hired an attorney specializing in cases like ours. She brought in top medical experts, including a pediatric radiologist and a child abuse pediatrician, who testified that Jaira's rib fractures did not follow a pattern of abuse. Some of her ribs were skipped, which is inconsistent with squeezing. Her first rib was fractured, which is never linked to child abuse. Given Jaira's low vitamin D and lab results, the first step should have been an endocrinology consult, not calling CPS. Yet, despite all this, we are still in a legal battle. Our next court date is March 24th, 2025. We need your help. Why we need your help? We are innocent. The medical evidence proves it. But those in power refuse to admit their mistake have kept us from our baby for months. We have already spent thousands on legal fees coming from loans, medical experts, and travel for court hearings. But we still need more expert testimony to prove our case, legal fees to continue fighting for our family. Every day without our daughter is heartbreaking. We have missed her first Thanksgiving, her first laughs, her milestones, and the precious time we will never get back. Whew. No parent should have to go through this. Now, how you can help? Donate. Any amount helps. Legal and medical expert fees are incredibly high, and every dollar brings us closer to justice. Share our story. Awareness is power. Help us expose how the system is failing innocent families. Pray and support us. Your encouragement and prayers keep us going. We are grateful for any support that you can give. Please help us bring Gyra home. Hashtag Gyra Strong. Hashtag Bring Gyra Home. Cash App $ ANSEABRON. That's AN is in caps and then it's Sebron. Elandria and Quentin Sebron. So the GoFundMe is www.gofundme.com/F/Gyra Sebron. So that's the information that I received today. I do want to let you know that on March 23rd, we are having an event where we are celebrating and honoring mothers and pregnant women. So we'll be giving support and education and talking about situations like this. This is going to be March 23rd, 2 to 6 in Dallas, Texas at the Blush Event Garden off of 635 in between Plano and Jupiter Road. So you can go to craftswoman.com to get a ticket. And we're having events for situations like this because I actually experienced this same situation, but my child, well, not the same situation. It's a similar situation, actually twice. I remember my first child taking my first child to a doctor. It was a Dr. Ascari in Atlanta who was awesome, who saved my baby's life because there was some other things going on and the doctors wanted to do something, and I went to her for the second opinion and she told me don't do it, and it was the best decision that I made. I had so many issues, like, just different issues, and she was able to help me with different things. She had, I think, what was that? I think what was he having? Eczema? I can't remember what the issue was. If it was, I can't remember, but she took his blood, and I was focused on, I think, eczema, but she said that he had low levels of vitamin D. So she told me to take vitamin D drops. Did that. Okay, everything's fine. So after another pregnancy, and then this is like my first my I'm like on a vegan diet. So of course, we're not eating any dairy and stuff like that. So we did the vitamin D supplements. Another time, after me having my baby, this was really scary, and I wrote about this particular experience in my book, The Dark One Redemption. Oh, not that one. And this one, The Dark One Redemption 3, which is a guide to fertility, home birth, and breastfeeding. I talked about my story about how my child was walking and then went one day, just fell and stopped walking and started crawling. So I thought it was maybe a broken bone, knee, maybe an insect bite. I was doing these bath, turmeric rubs. I was doing everything trying to figure out why my child, who was past one, who started walking, I think at 10 months. So this was like, I don't know how many months, maybe like 1.5 or something like that. Started, but I am breastfeeding. My baby is eating, but my baby was a picky eater. So there wasn't much food that they would take. So I was breastfeeding a lot more. And I was on a vegan diet, and my baby was not getting enough calcium and vitamin D. That was really what it ended up being, but it was like for 1 week my baby just was crawling everywhere, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. If I go over somebody's house and or go visit somebody, or somebody visit me, they're going to be like, when your baby not walking, when your baby walking. So I'm just every day I'm just worried. I'm trying to figure out why my baby stopped walking and is now crying, and also my baby's feet begin to curl. My baby started walking like with the toes curled up, and I was like, what is going on? I just kept trying to straighten the toes out. My baby's, to come to find out, and I never took my baby to the doctor because I knew that something like this would happen. I said that if my baby don't walk by next week, I'm gonna go to the emergency room, because I knew that they would say you negligent, or just they would say something and possibly take my baby away. And I just can't imagine that. So, and I even didn't share this publicly. And even when I wrote this in my book, the editor changed some of the wording because he said that he didn't want the peoples to come after me. So I waited a while before I even wrote about it and published it in my book. But I wanted to, because this book is about breastfeeding, so I had to tell that story about breastfeeding. And it clicked one day. I remember a friend of mine telling me that, she was anti-vegan. It's I hate the label, but I'll just say plant-based diet. But I mean, I don't like the label anyway, because sometimes some people who are on a plant-based diet, sometimes they eat meat. Sometimes they might eat a product that has animal products. So she was saying that there was a vegan community where these children were having rickets. And so it clicked one day. I was like, oh my gosh, my child has rickets. So I was like, F this vegan stuff. Baby, I went and got me some yogurt. What else did I get? I still didn't do. That's all. I got yogurt. I got vitamin D supplements. I got the orange juice that had calcium and vitamin D fortified in it. I made sure that, and it was my fault because I had gained so much weight during my last pregnancy, and I've always been small. So it was kind of difficult for me to adjust to being that size. So I was like, I really want to lose my belly for one. I didn't really care about anything else, but I was like, I need to get this belly down. I'm tired of people asking me, am I pregnant? So I went to try to lose weight. And so when I was doing intermittent fasting, it was not working with me breastfeeding a picky eating toddler. So I had to just start to, the only thing that was non-vegan I think I did was the yogurt. And I made sure that I did the vitamin D drops every day. Like I said, the orange juice, just different food that had calcium in it. I was making sure I ate it. And after a while, my baby started to get strong enough to stand, because at first my baby would not stand at all. I would try to stand my baby up, and my baby would fall right down on the knees and start crawling everywhere. So I know what this situation is like. Not the situation of, I know what it's like to have CPS called on you. Well, because I had made a video before, and I talked about it in this book as well, about how they tried to take my first child because I had my child at home unassisted, and went to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room because the pediatrician would not take me without medical discharge papers. But me, being in my postpartum mind, not consulting with a postpartum doula or, somebody, I'm like, okay, you can't see my baby without this. Okay, so I need to go to the emergency room. So I went to the emergency room and they're freaking out. And I also have a Lotus birth at this time. And my cord is still attached. So they're like, this girl is crazy. But I also know that if I look different, they would have known and that I wasn't or didn't think that. And but there was like Asian doctors, the immigrant doctors, they knew that this cultural. They knew that it was cultural. They knew that I was not insane. And they had called a social worker on me and started questioning me. And I'm like, and I know that any time that you go to these um, doctors, that there's a risk of them medically kidnapping your child. It could be anything. It could be a scratch. It could be that they fall. It could be anything. So you have to be so careful with babies because you just do not want them to have any type of accidents or things like that. It's extremely important that we are educated on breastfeeding. So we're going to be celebrating Black Breastfeeding Week, which is the last week in August every single year. It's a national, international thing in your city. You can find Black Breastfeeding Week events. So, and August is Breastfeeding Month. So there's so many different events so that you can learn more about breastfeeding. But it's extremely important that we stress the importance of nutrition while we are breastfeeding because the baby is relying on us to get their nutrients from. So you want to make sure that you are incorporating you're not having a restrictive diet. Now, I'm not trying to say you have to eat those things that, like, let's just say you don't eat pork. I'm not trying to say you got to eat pork or things like that, or even not be vegan because there are some vegan calcium, vitamin D sources, but I'm not playing with that. If my baby is having some issues with um, bone fragility, I'm going to be doing and eating everything I can to make sure that my baby has strong bones. So it's extremely important for us to make sure that we are eating well and support this family, help bring Jaira home, fight against wrongful CPS case. And this is the GoFundMe page that I am on. And I wanted to tell you that if you're pregnant or you just had a baby, specifically with a baby under 3, please come out to the Pregnant to Postpartum event March 23rd in Dallas, Texas. Go to craftswoman.com. So what we'll be doing at the event, this is our second event. The last one we had was last year in October. And this year it's going to be in springtime in March, Women's History Month. And the last week in March is also Doula Week. So doulas, birth workers come out. And if you're pregnant, if you have a newborn, especially, or children under 3, that's who we are targeting. Of course, if you have older children, if you're just an advocate, you can also come as well. You can go on Eventbrite. Well, go to craftswoman.com. It's a link on there to Eventbrite, so you can go ahead and purchase your ticket. This is a ticketed event, and right now the tickets are 2 for 1. So you can bring a friend, a spouse, or whatever. Children under 3 are free. This is not a children's event, but we're welcoming babies. We're going to have a private breastfeeding room. So if you have a child over 3, I'm just going to tell you now that we don't have any like activities. We don't have a room. We don't have anything for them. If you cannot find a babysitter, they're not going to be turned away. But I'm just letting you know it's not a children's event. It's more of a mother event. Okay, mothers and birth workers. We will have chiropractors. Chiropractic care is extremely important. I've seen my children have seen chiropractors. Chiropractors can help you if you haven't. Not only you. Well, let me get on you. While you're pregnant, you can go see a chiropractor. If you are trying to conceive, you can go see a chiropractor. Even for fibroids. Um, it has shown, studies show that when you get aligned adjustments, it can help you to be increase your chances of conception. So if you're trying to have a baby, it's good to see a chiropractor. And just in general, we're sitting a lot. It's just chiropractic care. I just love it. It's awesome. It has helped me so much to get out of pain. It's not only for when you got that crook in the neck, it also just helps keep you balanced, keep you aligned, and it actually helps with a lot of issues. A lot. Just do your research. So, if you're pregnant, it can also help with the pressure that is on your spine. It can help relieve that. Even if you have like carpal tunnel, I'm telling you, so many things. A good chiropractor, it will make a difference in your life. It'll help you sleep better. It'll just help you overall. Adjustments by the right chiropractor is good. Now, it's some chiropractors there out there who are not good. Stay away from them. Those fast places, that's those car wreck chiropractors. I don't like those. Those crack your back ones. No, you need somebody who really care about natural healing, natural health. So if you're trying to get pregnant, go see a chiropractor. If you're already pregnant, go see a chiropractor. I saw a chiropractor one time when my baby was in the breech position, feet down, baby transverse, meaning your baby is like this. Go see a chiropractor. The adjustments can help flip the baby, turn the baby around. It can also help um, if you're like overdue. Chiropractors can help with that. So after you have your baby, not only do we go through trauma, babies go through trauma as well, squeezing, to get in here to get to enter into the earth, enter into the world, enter into earth side. So babies go through trauma too. So it's good. They can get adjustments. They have ways to adjust babies. If you're having problem with lip tie, as she said, I've had, did she say it in here or was it on the Facebook? I think it was said in here. I don't know if this is the same. This may be the same article that's on Facebook, but I know she was saying that she had lip tie issues. I've also experienced that, lip tie issues, and I ain't getting no goat milk. I just look read my book. Okay, and I'll tell you what I did, but I never did any formula or nothing like that. We were able to get over that situation. It was traumatic as well because the doctor, it was wasn't. Just read the book. So anyway, and this book is available on my website, craftswoman.com. It's The Dark One Redemption 3. So the chiropractors can help with lip tie, with breastfeeding, sleeping, what a colic, so many digestion, so many different issues that the chiropractor can help your newborns out with. Also, when your children start to play sports, they can help them with that. Babies jumping around and everything is getting out of place. They can help keep your babies and your children aligned. So don't overlook chiropractic care. I'm excited that we will have a sleep consultant. Speaking of sleep, so those of you who have your big baby still in the bed, I'm sure she will be able to help you with that. And she's a sleep consultant, so she can help you. I'm not sure if it's managing a sleep schedule or what, but come and talk to a sleep consultant if you're having problems with transitioning your baby out your bed to their bed, or if you're having any type of sleep problems with your children and babies. We will also have doulas there. So if you want a doulas, remember doulas are non-medical. They offer non-medical support. So before you get pregnant, they have fertility doulas, um, all these different type of doulas. I do a doula training. My doula training will be starting April 1st. I have not been talking about it enough, but we do have a doula training, online doula training coming up, and my training is a full spectrum training. So we are covering everything from womb wellness all the way to breastfeeding. It's important to cover womb wellness because the things that's going on with your womb will affect you during your pregnancy. So it's extremely, and then the things that we talk about with womb wellness, it's basically just It's the same thing for postpartum recovery. So I talk about vaginal steaming, belly binding, and let me see what else. Herbs. Find out which herbs is good for certain things. We talk about addressing trauma, emotional things. All of these things, they all affect you while you're pregnant and also during your postpartum time. So the training will also cover the business aspect of being a doula, how to write up your contracts, your agreements, the red flags, how to know which families to work with because every family is not for you. And you need to know that. Save yourself the heartache. How to price yourself. And so I'm not breaking it up with birth doula training and then a separate one postpartum training. To me, I feel like that's just trying to get you more money. But we also have a self-paced program and in person. But with in person, we have to have a certain amount of people to have an in person training. So if you want me to do an in person training, just please reach out, email us at contact@craftswoman.com if you want to know more about the doula training. So that's coming up in April, and but you'll have doulas there that you can meet even if you don't want to have a doula. It's good to just know one because in situations like this honestly could have been resolved by a phone call, even a DM, a text, or a full consultation. And unfortunately, a lot of these lactation consultants in these hospitals, what I find is they're not good. And I do recommend seeking out when you do have issues with breastfeeding to reach out to a lactation consultant, and a doula may also be able to help. I really believe that people who breastfeed can help. I remember when I had my first child in the hospital, the only child I had in the hospital, they I kept having issues with latching. I just could not get my baby to latch. This was my first time breastfeeding. I didn't know anybody in my family who had breastfed. I just had to just figure it out. But I had all these different lactation consultants to come and basically just look at my breast, and they ain't even help me. None of them look like me. It and not to say that nobody who don't look like me can't help, but none of them help. You know, the lady who helped me was a lady who signed, who did my birth certificate. A sister. She took my baby and just put baby on the breast. And after that, I was good. I had no issues with latching. She wasn't a lactation consultant. She was just a mother who breastfed herself. I mean, that I was like, wow. She just natural talent. So I'm a lactation lover. I'm big on breastfeeding. You can't tell me nothing bad about breastfeeding. Breastfeeding has so many benefits, and I'm not gonna shame anybody for not breastfeeding, but I am pro breastfeeding. And if you want to know more about that, I have the information in my book. I do consultations. I help people out because this is extremely important to feed your baby and to avoid situations like this. So nutrition is extremely important. We talk about that in the training, the breastfeeding and all of that. Um, oh yeah, the lactation consultants that I ran into, a lot of them they have a passion. They have a passion for it, but they don't even have children. They none of them. Another time, none of them had children. When I went to the doctor postpartum, went to the hospital postpartum, they they just was basically going off of the books, the things that they had learned, but they didn't have. It's like a maternal instinct. It's something like within you. It's how you can help people breastfeed. But now I believe that you can be a doula and a midwife without having children. I don't really believe that you can help somebody out with breastfeeding if you ain't ever breastfed. Breastfed in the beginning can be extremely difficult. I could be wrong. Maybe there are some people who have, but you have to know what it's like to help somebody out. So that was one of the things I want to talk about. But you have to seek postpartum, and all doulas are not even good, to be honest. uh, some doulas, they're not called, they just maybe like babies or want to like birth and just want to hang around pregnant women. Some of them don't have the innate ability to really support a woman properly. But okay, so another thing, at the event, the pregnancy postpartum event, March 23rd, 2 to 6 p.m. in Dallas, Texas, RSVP on craftswoman.com. We will be talking about, we'll be doing workshops, right? So it's going to be interactive workshops. This is not a talk at you event. This is more of, we want to have a interactive. We want everybody to, and now if you're an introvert, you don't like talking, you do want to sit back and watch, it's fine. Ain't nobody's picking on you. But if you want to, we actually want to pick somebody out of the audience to come and participate in these workshops. So one of the workshops is going to be baby wearing. Baby wearing, a lot of times you'll see indigenous people wearing their babies, tying their babies around their back, okay, or even in the front, on the side. They got all different types of way. We'll be talking about the African traditional, or well, demonstrating it's going to be a live demonstrating tutorial on how you can actually wrap your baby around you with cloth. And the benefits of wrapping your baby is, for number one, is a lot of times your baby is whining and crying, not necessarily because they want to eat. It's not that their stomach hurting. It's not that they need to be changed. It's that they want to be close to you. And it's normal for the babies want to be close to you. Remember, they were living inside of you. And I read that it takes them like almost a year to even realize I'm outside the womb. But they want to be close to you, so you can wrap them around you so they can hear your heartbeat. Remember, they have been sleeping, swimming inside of you, living inside of you, listening to your heartbeat. Excuse me. So put the baby close to you, wrap the baby around you, and get stuff done. It also helps with the bonding with you and your baby. It also helps. You know what? I also heard that it helps them not to be afraid of heights. But it can just help keep the baby quiet, keep the baby confident. So, and then you can still get some stuff done. You don't have to hold your baby. And it's not even good holding your baby from the side. It's you getting all on the misaligned and stuff like that. Anyway, then you have to go see a chiropractor. But wearing your baby is a good practice to do. Okay, so we're going to be showing you how you can actually do that with whatever you have, with some cloth sheets, things that you don't have to go and buy any material, but we'll be talking about that too, how you can wrap your baby around you. And we will also do a workshop on belly bonding. And I talk about belly bonding in this book, The Dark One Redemption 2. This is a guide to pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum. And in this book, this book it's so many good things in it. Oh my gosh. I talked about belly bonding using a yoga ball, nutrition, inductions. It's a postpartum plan to help you prevent postpartum depression. We'll be talking about that too. So belly bonding is good. Some people call it like closing of the womb. So because after you have a baby, you feel loose. It's not only for vanity. It's not only because you want your stomach to get back flat. Sometimes it just don't get back flat. But or maybe it was never even flat to begin with. But it helps to heal your uterus and so many things. So we'll be talking about belly bonding and actually doing an interactive workshop, so you can come up there on the stage and get your belly bonded, or you can do it yourself. So I don't think I want to do, usually I do the stuff. I'm not going to do it. I want to have one person to do the belly bond and one person do the baby wrapping, so, and then on another person. so that everybody can get the experience. And we can do more than one person. It doesn't have to just be two people. It can be multiple people who want to learn how to wear their baby. So if you have those babies, babies are welcome. Babies are welcome. You can bring your stroller if you want. There is also a diaper changing station in the bathroom. It's so mommy friendly. This place is so mommy friendly. And a private breastfeeding room. Everybody don't feel comfortable breastfeeding in public. So that's an option for you. Let me see what else. So you'll be able to hear from the doulas, from the chiropractors, from the sleep consultants. I'm really excited to hear about the sleep part. Like, I really want to know about that, because sometimes it is hard to get your baby out the bed and you feeling so guilty. You want your bed to yourself, but they keep coming in there, and everybody don't want to co-sleep. So we'll also have complimentary food and drinks. So you don't have to worry. We know breastfeed pregnant women, breastfeeding women, 4 hours. You're gonna have to eat something. So you don't have to worry about bringing a snack. We will have some food for you, and we will have meat options and non-meat options, healthy options, so that you can eat while you're there. You don't have to bring your food. You don't have to hurry up and leave to eat. So after you leave church or whatever you do on Sunday, come on out March 23rd. And we will also have a panel so that you can ask your questions. Ask the professionals the questions. I'm telling you, if you are pregnant and you just had a baby, you really need to be there. So go ahead and register at craftswoman.com. There was another issue. I really was going to talk about postpartum depression, because recently, this is made national news. There was a man and his daughter who were killed during a shooting in Fort Worth, Texas. And the child's mother got on live. I don't want to be critical, but it's a sight. It was really embarrassing to look at that. She was like getting it was crazy. But anyway, I want to talk about depression. I mean, postpartum depression, and honestly, like, just not supporting mothers after they have a baby. Okay, because, and I was saying in another video, the same support that you have while you're pregnant is sometimes it's a different support after you have your baby. And then after you have your baby, everybody is there. Well, most of the time, people are there in the beginning. Oh, let me come and hold the baby. Let me come and see the baby. Blah blah blah. No, no. You need to make sure that when people are coming over, they're coming to help you. They should be bringing food. They should be bringing meals. They should be bringing water, fruits, meals, DoorDash, whatever. I mean, they should be making sure that you're okay. They could come and clean themselves. They could hire a cleaner to come and help you. Women need to get support after they have their baby. And it's not only when the baby is young, it's when they become toddlers and they begin preschool. Remember, it takes years for all your hormones to level out, for you to get your get back. Maybe you never even well, you never are the person that you were before, but it takes some adjusting of your life, and your life will change, whether good or bad. And we need help. We need help. We need people to come and support us. We need help. So this is why that is why we are having this event to offer. We want to celebrate moms, because mothers are important. You know, all problems pretty much start at the birth. If you really think about it, all problems pretty much start actually in utero. What happens, the trauma that happens to your mother while she's pregnant, those things affect you in ways that you don't even know. Why you don't like these certain things, why you afraid of certain things. It's so many things that happen while a mother is pregnant, and that stuff gets transferred to the baby. So we need to support pregnant women. We need to be nice to pregnant women. There was one thing my aunt told me, is that when I was my first pregnancy, she said, What she liked about being pregnant is the special treatment. And I was like, I don't be getting no special treatment. But when you really think about it, well, you are supposed to get special treatment, but people do generally. Like, they'll stand up, they'll give you a seat, they'll be nice to you, the nicer to you or more considerate when you are pregnant. We should be honoring pregnant women. Remember, without a pregnant woman, we don't have a nation, we don't have people. And the thing with the unalivings that happen in Fort Worth is, I just say that, and looking at the child's mother on live, the way she was celebrating because one of the people who did it was caught, and everybody was like, you can't tell any woman how not to grieve, but it was just the way they were on that live. It was project. It was like they must live in the projects. Like, it wasn't cool. And you know what somebody said is that what we're dealing with right now, these YNs, they're really the crack grandbabies. Okay, so in the 80s, you have, and let me tell you what destroyed the black community, because in the 70s, we during the segregation, everything, we were flourishing. We had thriving businesses. We were well off wealth wise than now in integration. So I believe that the things that ruined us, I'm going to say three things. The things that ruined the black community's integration, because once we start to integrate, and I'm not saying that we need to be segregated now, okay? I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm saying is, when we got integrated, the only reason why there was integration anyway is because of finances. That's when our money left our communities. It left our communities, and now we're at a deficit. Um, and then now we got to work. Both parents have to work, and sometimes both parents are working two jobs, and they're not able to support children. So we got to work all the time to pay all of these bills. So integration, crack did a number on the black community, and it destroyed the community. Every black person has somebody, at least one person, and a few, and maybe a few in your family, that has suffered with crack, specifically crack drug addiction. Because the thing about crack is, it's not going to KILLU. It's going to keep you alive, but it's so addictive. Like, there's few people that just try it once and they done. It's people that will do it for years. They will get clean, and something happen and they snap back. I've seen it in my own family, and they will relapse, as they call it. So the crack really, really destroyed us. The third thing that destroyed us is the music. The music is destructive. All of this overly sexual music, all of this shoot 'em up, shoot the whole family, drive-bys, gang stuff, the music is really destructive to the black community. And you had people who were fighting, trying to fight against this, when Luke came out with the derogatory music, which, I mean, it has its place. I'm not trying to say that we can't listen to, but it's on the radio. It should not be on the radio. They started to put, since they said, okay, you freedom of speech, okay, you won. We're gonna put a label, parental advisory, on the CDs and tapes and stuff. Remember when they had cassette tapes, to let that, but I mean, we were still, as children, we were still able to buy that music that we should not have been able to buy. But the music is getting worse and worse and worse. Um, it's getting worse, and it's negatively affecting our children. I feel like adults should be able to listen to that, to listen to whatever, but I think children should not be able to listen to Glorilla, Megan Thee Stallion, Sexy Red. Who else is vulgar? All of them. They promote all the vulgarness. Now, I'm not trying to say that it ain't bumping. It's cool as an adult, and it has its place. Just like when who was real vulgar? Too Short. Too Short was real vulgar. It's just not for children. It's just, the music is just not for children, and the music is destructive. And the people who unalive This man and his daughter were like 20, 21. Like they're babies. They're young. What are they doing with assault rifles just spraying up the place? Destroying destroying the community. It's a problem. We have so many problems in the black community, from medical kidnapping, gun violence. I just found out one of my children's coaches was unalived and nobody knows who did it. And then I start to look at the statistics, and black people are the highest, black males are the highest that are getting unalived by pew pew violence. And then you have the other races, and we know that other countries are worse. There's some other countries. There's some other countries where they really be going at it way worse than in America. But this is a problem. So everybody, if you're black, you should be a part of some type of problem solving. Some type of, you don't even if you don't want to be a part of an organization, you should be a part of something, whether it's on the medical side, fighting homelessness, mental health, drug abuse. We have environmental issues. There are so many different issues. But let me tell you something. All of it starts at birth. If you're not born, you can't fight. I mean, like if you're everything starts at birth. So those children who um deleted those people, and this made national news because there was a 5-year old involved, but it happens every day. And it's more in some cities and less in some, but it happens all day, every day. But we have to look at the beginning, because mothers are going through postpartum depression undiagnosed, or if it's diagnosed, they're probably going to put you on medication. They're probably going to put you on medication. And then sometimes that creates an addiction. So then we have drug abuse again. So there is a real problem. Before we get to parenting, we got to focus on birth. Every single person needs to be advocating for birth justice, so we won't have things like this happening, and support events like the pregnant to postpartum event, which is there to offer support and education, because you don't know what you don't know. And I think I know a little bit, but it's so much that I don't know. And I'm still learning more and more every day, even about, like, I mean, I've not, as far as getting back to the breastfeeding, she said that um there was less, let me see. I wanted to go. I think it was like less milk fat because she was pumping. Now, pumping is better than formula, okay? Pumping is better than nothing. But it is really best to put breast to mouth for baby to get it from the tap. I know everybody got it. Some people got to go back to work. That's the reality. Some people can't put their baby to their breast. Some people can't take their baby to work like I did. Some people don't want to be self-employed. Some That's just the reality. But when even if you pump, like, you can just pump for a short period of time. I have pumps. I had pumps during every pregnancy, and actually a different pump during every pregnancy, because I end up giving it away to somebody. I probably pumped, I can probably count. I didn't pump a lot, okay? Because my baby was with me. But it's better to put baby to the breast, especially in the beginning. Especially in the beginning, because it's the right temperature. You don't have to worry about sanitation. The baby is getting all of the nutrients that they need at that time. Like at night, when you breastfeed your baby at night, the baby gets more melatonin. So it's best to put the baby directly on the breast. But if you have to pump, I do have stuff on in my book about pumping. So we're not against pumping, but pumping should be the second choice, not the first. But I know some people just, they have to be away from their babies, and pumping is the best thing after, if you cannot. actually put the baby on the breast. Also, nipple shields. We do not talk about nipple shields enough in the birth community. So if you have inverted nipples, like when I had the issue with the tongue tie issue, I should have tried nipple shields, but I didn't know anything about nipple shields. None of the pediatrician, the lactation consultants that I consulted with, nobody told me anything about nipple shields. They always want to go straight to surgery. It's surgery, medication. That's the medical system. Surgery, pills, surgery, pills, surgery, pills. And sometimes those things are needed. We're not against medical treatment. We're not against medical treatment. But sometimes it's just invasive and it's unneeded. And there are natural things that we can do to solve problems. So in this situation, my heart goes out to her, the mother. What I see is that the way she could have avoided this, because like I said, I went through the tragic incident of my baby. I know it's always it's always presented as the only option. Don't let me get on hysterectomies. Don't let me get on hysterectomies. I don't know. I already went off on hysterectomies, but why is it that black women are suggested to get a whole surgical hysterectomy when they could actually go through the vagina and take out the uterus? But it should really only be like a life and death situation. And a lot of times, is your uterus killing you? No, it's not the uterus. It could be the things you're putting on your body, the things that you're eating, not exercising. Those things could actually be harming you, causing fibroids is the number one reason for getting a hysterectomy. And then what's so crazy is they say that during menopause, the fibroids shrink. And I'm like, and you done got all these women uteruses. So I already talked about that. It's a fact that the big major surgery is going to be recommended when you can get other things done that's not so high risk. Okay. I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, but when it comes to like these unalivings, these homicides and stuff like this, it is extremely serious, and it I think it goes back to the birth. It goes back to the parenting. It goes back to not supporting parents. When you see a parent struggling, don't be saying, "Oh, she howling at them kids, she beating on them kids." Why don't you go and support her? Why don't you try to help her? Yes, some people don't want to take the help. Okay, that's them. But there's people who really want help. There are people who really want help. You got people just dropping their children off at the fire station, at the police department, giving them to CPS. I mean, we're mothers are stressed out here, okay? So please support a mother. If you know somebody pregnant, postpartum, please support them. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know, what did you think about this video?